Board of Trustees. It is Monday, March 4th, 2024. We could please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. April took off on this. Let the record show that we are all present, other than Michelle, who was out for knee surgery. And she may be out for a little while. All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda. I have nothing to add or subtract. Anyone?
Motion, we approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to announcements and communications. Anyone have anything they'd like to say? No? All right, we're going to move on to call the public. Call the public is come on up, talk about non-agenda related items. You guys have anything you'd like to say?
Good.
Seeing no one, we're going to move on to reports. First report is DDA, and Amy is off on personal matters, so we will move on to the chief.
He's monopolized the whole agenda. I can't imagine what else he has
Good
to say.
evening. I've just got a couple of items here this evening. Our firefighters this month, or actually last month, did an average of 8 hours worth of training. Last month's topic were ice rescue, which didn't turn out to be so much of ice rescue, but more of an open water rescue due to the lack of ice this year. But they did go over the proper techniques and things like that for ice rescue. This year from last year, we are down 7 runs, which I typically don't say, but yes, we are down. Last year, for end of February, we were at 312. This year, we are at 305. As far as the fire prevention side or fire inspections, for the month of February, Fire Marshal Harbin, he was off a week for staff and command. For the next 9 months, he will be. But with that, he did 21 inspections, totaling just under 400,000 square feet of occupancy in the township. Any questions?
All good.
Perfect. Thank you,
Chief.
Thanks.
Moving on to Lieutenant. Sure. Sergeant Sharma. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hi, Lieutenant.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I apologize, I sound like Oscar the Grouch. Firstly, I furnished a copy of the triennial report for September through December of 2023. Does anyone have any questions with that? All right, seeing none.
All good.
So next up, last week, Thursday, the sheriff sent out another warning. Apparently, the calls are kicking up again for the fake jury scams. About 20 residents in Rochester Hills received a call. So I wanted to remind residents of Wyatt Township that if anyone calls stating you have a warrant for missing jury duty, it is a scam. The sheriff's office would never do that, nor would we ask you to pay for your warrant with iTunes gift cards. So please don't fall for that, or Google Play cards, or anything of that matter. And the last matter I'd like to address is we've had another successful flock camera license plate reader hit. My deputies, along with my detectives, we were able to assist Livingston County detectives. There was a stolen vehicle that hit on the camera at Kent Lake and Grand River that was parked just right across the street. So they came in and met with my guys, and we were able to take the person into custody that had stolen that vehicle, or at least was in possession of it. So as you can see here, while we'll never have any kind of monetary value, it is community related. I believe there's a lot of good things going on with it. We have several other investigations that it's helped out with that we're still in the process, like the push outs from Walmart as far as stolen groceries are concerned, and smash and grabs for purses. But I like it. I'm getting some positive feedback, and I think we're getting good results. So I'll keep you posted as we move forward, and you can expect to see on the next version of the triennial report the LPR hits down at the bottom. I'll keep an accurate tabulation. There is a way for us to keep track of it. So with that being said, that's all that I have, unless anyone has any questions for me.
No, it's great. I think the cameras are working.
I do
What
too.
can we ask for? It's
Yeah.
public safety.
I do.
It's awesome.
All right,
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thanks.
Planning Commission, anything?
We did not have a meeting in the month of February.
That's a first.
Lack of agenda items on the first and the first Monday, or the first planning commission meeting, and then the second was the day before the election. So Michelle had this room all tied up, and we were, unable to meet on that day. But March is going to be busy.
Yep,
So
It's probably been
Okay.
20 years since we've had a month with no planning commission
yeah.
meetings.
it's been a long time. Okay, moving on to the next one, and I wonder if they had anything.
We did not,
Okay.
and as always, sadly, no
Well,
month, no meeting this month.
You know what, Lisa, I loved what you said last time. We're doing our job. We're amending these. Really, the ZBA's for that. We're getting them right. It's good stuff. Okay, Dave is still out ill, just so everyone knows. He's still out ill. So I don't have anything for the building department. The water department, we did get some good news. The Eagle has said that they're gonna try to green light the permit. So they got all the responses back, and I just seen the email today that they're talking about green lighting it, so they're in their final stages. I'm hoping that we can get that started very quick. Other than that, anyone have any questions for any of the reports? Okay, we're gonna move on to unfinished business, and the first unfinished business is the second reading of the right-of-way measurements text amendment. I think we're online to pass that.
Yeah, we have no changes from last month. Leslie and I do have a meeting set up to talk about potential modifications in the future per the direction of the board, but for the time being, Carol would like us to move this along.
Okay? Anyone like to make a motion on that, get this moved?
I'll move the adoption of ordinance 01-24, which is AP 23-65, right-of-way measurements text amendment.
Support.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we're gonna move on to new business. Redstone Architects' final presentation of the Lyon Township Fire Department Facility Needs Study. And we like to keep this like 3 minutes or so. I'm kidding.
Good evening. I'm Daniel Redstone. Glad to be here. I know I only have 10 minutes, and I know Sean has to leave early for a very important meeting later on tonight, so
Thank you.
I'll try to be brief. We were engaged by the township in late 2021, and our first meeting was early 2022. I have to say, it's a very impressive collaborative effort that we had between the fire department, the township board members, excuse me, 2 chiefs, and it continued to move forward. And it's been quite a journey. We started, as I said, in January of 22. We developed a runtime analysis for a number of location and scenarios, and in July we discussed that with the board, and the township put the study on hold to look at other potential locations. We resumed with our space needs assessment in April of 2023 and had a programming meeting and finished the space needs assessment, which identified the amount of square footage. And at that time, we were also looking for maybe a potential other site and the township identified a potential area that we should be looking at. With regard to this space needs assessment for the fire station, it is a very comprehensive assessment. It's about 20,000 square feet. It includes a community training room for up to 70 people with tables and chairs, 5 apparatus bays, excuse me, and I think most importantly, we've incorporated the current and latest trends in firefighters' health and safety and welfare by having hot, warm, and cold zone separations so that we minimize or try to minimize the impact of carcinogens for the firefighter health. In terms of the runtime analysis, and I'm going to show them to you very quickly, We did a number of, Beckett and Rader did a number of assessments, and then near the end of the 2-year process, we were also told that you were entering into an agreement with the City of South Lyon, and that would be an auto aid agreement for structure fires. And so we started to look at let me just get this. We started to look at options for the firefighter, for the various locations. The various assumptions that Beckett and Rader uses were the traffic variables and so on. So the existing conditions are the 2 stations. The optimum goal is to have a 5-minute response. I just want to go back to that. Where we have the NFPA 1710. 4 minutes, we want a 90% response rate. So the existing conditions were here, and we done 4 minutes. We were on structure fires, we were at 75%. So we started looking at different scenarios. And scenario 1 had the 1 new station at 9 Mile and Chubb, and there's a whole bunch of different combinations and various analyses for each scenario. I'm just going to run through them. You'll have them all there in your packet. And the various shadings in terms of response times. And the lower right-hand portion is the 9 Mile and Chubb. The lower left-hand in this scenario is the City of South Lyon. And so you can see on that scenario 5, the 4-minute response for both structure and other fires or other calls works quite well. So, and this is the analysis of the calls. Again, I would stress that you, at this point, look at the 4-minute scenario. The green bar is the scenario 5. So that's what we're really looking at. And later on, as I said, in the middle of 2023, we were asked to look at the location in the area of 9 Mile and Curry. And so Beckett and Rader created another scenario for that. And that helped. Got the 4-minute calls up to 83 and 86%, and the 5-minute to 85.9. But with and we're using the 9 Mile of Chubb runtime analysis because that had South Lyon in it, the City of South Lyon. And Chubb versus Curry is pretty close. So for this presentation and for the study, we are again showing that the 4-minute time, we exceed the NFPA requirements for the runtime analysis and for both the 111 calls and the normal calls. So we're quite happy with this 9 Mile Curry location. Project cost. We're at about 20,000 square feet. This was from the summary. We project construction costs of about $9 million, and we then allocate approximately 20% for soft costs, which are furniture, fixtures, equipment, professional fees. It does not include land. So this works out, and this was assuming a design in 24, construction starting in 25. $555 a square foot for the project. And I can tell you by going to the design conferences and the station design conferences, this is where projects are coming in. It's not going to be cheaper. You can make a pole barn, you can do things, but for a community south of, such as Lyon Township, in our area, I think we're looking for an architecturally good representation for the city. And I look around at what's been done in terms of the retail development, and I see that you are asking for that, and I think that constituents would expect you to do the same. The space needs assessment. and I'm just showing the summary page here. You have the full assessment in your packet. We have the public spaces, again, which includes a community training room for approximately 70 people. Fire administration, it's not the headquarters. We have taken, that's not part of this, but we do have some space for administrative staff. Suppression operations includes things like the day room, the work area, workout areas, and so on, and the staff commons. The warm zone is the intermediate zone where you come in from a fire, you take and you shower and so on before going into the clean area where you live and where you work. And so that's, again, that trend that's happening all over the country to protect firefighters. Apparatus bay, I said, we're talking about a five apparatus bays. And that's something that's, our best guess at this point for the long-term goal of the township. It could be that you can make do with 4. That's not my purview. We just worked that out with the fire department and felt that we should at least plan for it in terms of the township giving you the information you need to plan objectively. So we did a site layout, just a proposed site layout, and one of the things that the fire department needs also are some training space. So we developed the apparatus bays. You can probably see where they come out onto the street, public parking for the community room, firefighter parking to go into the operational area, set the proper setbacks, and so on. It's about a little less than 4 acres of property that we recommend. And this is sort of a block diagram showing, I don't know if I have, I'm not good at pointers, but this is the public lobby, training room. We have bathrooms for the public facilities. We also have a door that goes into fire department operations, the day room, and so on. Oops. Kitchen dining area, sleep rooms. This is meant to be a full-time department, and we have, I think, 5 sleep rooms, including the captain's sleep room. We have individual sleep rooms. We have a shared training bathroom, shower rooms for training, cleaning, and so on. And workout area, the 2 patios. One is for the kitchen dining. The other is for workout area in the summertime when it's warm enough. You can just open the doors up or roll them up, so on. So that's about 8 minutes. I have 2 minutes left for questions and answers, unless you extend my time. I'd be happy to stay. So thank you.
Wow, that was great.
No, that was really good, and I think that gives us a great understanding. I mean, we've been working on it for a while, and we kind of understand that we've got to get this property, and that's the first key. And we are working on that, just so you know. So
I did want to add one final thing, as everybody's talking about, it may not happen tomorrow, but I do think, in my experience in many communities is, as communities get developed, land goes away, property goes away. The ability to find a parcel to accommodate a 15 or 20,000 square foot fire department, fire station with drive-through bays gets more and more difficult. So my recommendation is, if you have the funds, even if you don't plan to build right away, that it's a good opportunity for you to at least make that initial step so that you can control your own future.
I agree with that.
So that.
Well, anybody have any questions? I mean, any?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
What size property would be ideal, just in case we hear something out and about?
I think I came up with about 4 acres.
4 acres?
I'm looking at, this was about 500 feet by 350 feet.
Okay.
But again, this was linear. I mean, if we had to go, if this was more urban, you might go 2 stories for part of it, which I don't recommend. It adds more square footage. It doesn't do any good. But again, if you decided down the road that you were not going to have a community center here or public polling precinct station, you would need less parking and less square footage for the building. So it's a program space projecting out to the future. Maybe it's a wish list, maybe it's a perceived potential need. I don't call those wish lists. I call it good planning.
So you put them all on one floor now?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
everything's on one floor.
What about the pole?
Uh,
No more
We've
fireman
done
pole?
stations with poles. The
just saying.
insurance company may not give you the best rate for,
It's always when
for
we
that?
see them, coming down the pole. They come out in their regular clothes, and when they hit the bottom, they're in their fire gear, and off they go.
We're looking at a poll, John.
they're still
Not that
making,
kind.
they're still making poles. So if you want a monumental pole, we can do it.
Well, thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody?
Oh, it's really great.
Everybody's good? Yeah. Well, thank you for
guys did
coming
a
in and
great
giving us
job.
that.
Okay,
We
Thank you.
appreciate it. We will be in touch for sure.
okay. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. Does anybody want to keep the presentation?
Yeah, we probably could.
Probably Reg.
Ronnie,
take
you wanna
it.
grab it?
I'll load it up. Thank you.
It's a shortened version of the document.
Okay. Thanks.
I like this version myself.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you. All right, we're gonna move on to the fire dispatch, and unfortunately, we're in kind of a situation where we need to get this approved, and we are still fighting about the costs, but we really have no choice but to get this approved the way it is. The county will only allow it with the wording it has, and the price did go up substantially. And the reason that they're telling us that the price went up was indirect cost, and we're having a hard time figuring out what the indirect costs are. So a lot of our commissioners are working on it, and he said that go ahead and, get it approved, and then if they can work this out somehow, it would only be less. It would be a discount.
John, this is a 3-year agreement. Is there any option to approve just
tried.
year one?
Yeah, I tried.
They won't
said
do that.
no.
They want 3 years or nothing.
Yep. You can ask Chief. We've been dealing with this, and they basically said, get this approved because it's off the end of this month. So we're kind of stuck, but we're still working on it. We're still trying hard, and kind of, it's up to the Board of Commissioners.
You basically expressed all the concerns I had already.
We have every single contract that they have is fighting it. We're just trying to figure out what indirect costs mean. What does it mean? They're flush with budget, so they can't tell us. And that's what we're working on.
I mean, this is still more cost effective than if we were to do it ourselves though, right?
Oh, yeah, but
Okay, I mean, I
But
know, but
it's-
worst
it's
case
still-
scenario.
it's still a tough position to be in, is you take what we give you, or we're not doing it. I mean,
For
that's
sure.
the position we're in.
I just meant to say, whether,
It's still less than we
whether
can
we
do it
look at
ourselves.
that as an option or not.
Yep.
But
We've even looked at other places, and it's just, this has been a very, very good situation for us. I mean, they're right on the ball. Chief, we had long conversations about it with him and I, and it's like, this is the best place we could ever have. So we want to continue, but I can tell you, we're working on the costs. This is the worst case scenario. Anybody want to make a motion to pass this through?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 through the 2027 fire dispatch service agreement between the County of Oakland and the Charter Township of Lyon. And we authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement.
I will reluctantly support.
All right, we have a motion with support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We're gonna work on it. Just hang in there, we're working on it.
Oh, I
I
believe you will
guarantee you.
be.
We're working on it. Okay, next up is the approval to purchase a new vehicle to replace Utility One and Brush One for the fire department. Chief, you wanna explain that? You could probably explain the next two, couldn't you?
Yeah.
They're kind of together anyway, right?
They sure are. So actually what you guys have in front of you are two purchase requests. The first one, what I'm trying to do is, per our budget this year, we had set aside money for a down payment on a new rescue. After doing some more analysis on that, I don't believe we're at the point to renew or to purchase that truck or order that truck at this time, just due to mileage and stuff like that. I think we can get a little bit more life out of that apparatus. With that being said, since I'm kind of pushing that one out a year or two, I need to readjust our timeline and move a vehicle up or two vehicles up that we were probably looking at more so next year. These two apparatus, I'm actually looking at the first one here, the replacement of utility one and brush one. Looking at getting rid of two vehicles and turning it into one. Right now, the utility truck has a plow on it. We typically only use it in the winter months, periodically for emergency purposes only, for plowing into long driveways and such. That truck is original to these buildings. It was purchased back in 2001. We've had several issues with it, maintenance issues, and it's kind of reached its end of life. It's got a lot of rust on it and things like that. And then the other truck it's a 2000 brush truck. It's got a manual transmission. We're having a harder time to train people to drive that apparatus. And it's becoming a maintenance nightmare to keep on the road because apparently clutches are hard to utilize. So, yeah, with that being said, I'd like to get rid of the two of them and buy one truck. That would be a brush truck in the summer months and a plow truck in the winter months, helping overhead costs for maintenance in the future and giving us more space in our buildings because we are bursting at the seams with apparatus and being able to store all of them at this point. The second truck, our apparatus, it is that time to replace the Chief 2 vehicle, our second command vehicle. It's a 2016 Tahoe, and it's approaching 95,000 miles on it. And I'm looking to replace that and mirror the F-150 we purchased last year for my department vehicle. And I would just basically make a twin of that one, and that would just be a one-for-one swap on that. So looking for two different vehicles, 2024 F-150 with everything. New truck, all new lighting, graphics, delivered ready in service is just over 71,270. And to turn the two trucks into one, it'll be a brand new F-350, new snowplow, new brush skid firefighting unit in the back end of that apparatus, and once again, all new lights, graphics, and everything like that. Just under 89,000. It comes in at 88,906 to turn two vehicles into one.
Okay,
Any questions?
I just want to say, you left out the best part of the story.
What's that, sir?
How you got the brush truck.
Oh yes, the brush truck, actually the 2000 F450 with the manual transmission. We would have probably never ordered that out of the gate, but that truck was taken on a trade years ago for old Rescue 1. Had a department come from Pennsylvania that bought it off auction on the internet, and when they came, they drove that truck and said, "Here's the check for the truck we purchased, and here, take this brush truck too." So we're like, okay. I mean, we weren't going to turn down a free truck that they brought, and we've been utilizing it. We did have more people that could drive it in the past, but as things age, it's becoming a dinosaur in the fire service, having a manual transmission.
It's just so funny that they didn't even want it. They just
Oh.
said, here, you take it.
They were glad to get rid of
The
it.
gas money was probably worse than
Yeah,
Then the truck we sold them, the transmission fell out of it going to Ohio or something.
I made it to the Ohio-Pennsylvania line. They had to get back to Pennsylvania, and the part of the truck fell off, and they had to have it towed the rest away. However, there is a good side to that. It wasn't like we gave them. It is what they wanted. They were extremely happy, and months later, they sent us pictures of that truck all repainted and all done, and they were ecstatic that they had it.
It's just a good story.
Yeah, they were happy to get the truck, even though it didn't quite make it all the way for them to their fire department. Still a lot cheaper for them to fix it than to buy a new one like that. But any other questions that I could clarify? Or
Okay, anyone want to make a motion to purchase these?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a replacement of utility one and brush one vehicle from Hines Park Ford for $88,906 per the fire chief's letter of February 9th, 2024.
support. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, got one more here.
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the new Chief 2 command vehicle, F-150, with a total price of $71,270, including all of the upfitting, be purchased from Longhammer Ford.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, there you
Thank
go,
you.
chief.
Thanks.
All right, moving on. Oops.
Reggie, you're ordering these, right?
Yes.
So do they need a down
Nope.
payment or anything? Okay.
Nope,
I
we
had
will,
that-
we won't have to do it the day of delivery. I'll actually bring you the invoice and we cut a
Okay.
check.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
pretty smooth and simple.
Make some interest then.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, moving on to this opioid litigation settlement funds. These are coming like all the time. These are just class action lawsuits where everybody gets a little piece of the pie. I think we're getting a couple right now. We're getting a couple
$2,000
checks here and there. And it's just another one.
Couple $100 here and there, so.
So it's just money they're willing to class action off to the township.
Is there like the other ones too, where it's certain things we have to use it for, right? Or-
No, I don't
or
think
is this
this
one
one-
unrestricted?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Ellen's from Carol's office is the one that's been taking care of this for us. That's good.
Okay, anyone like to make a motion to move that forward?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-13, accepting opioid litigation settlement funds from McKinsey and Company and authorizing acceptance of additional opioid-related settlements and plans. I don't know that I needed the
Support.
two, but acceptance.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we got another consideration of a request from Wide Open West WOW to approve a uniform video service local franchise agreement. These are Metro Acts. They go in for permits and just lets them drill without coming in every minute to get a permit. Is that true, Leslie?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just another Metro Act.
Mhm.
These actually pay the township money also.
So John, are we supposed to give that percentage within the agreement then? Is that what we're supposed to do, the 5% I think was?
We're asking for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
The WOW is actually in the mobile home park. That's where this.
It's like a cable
Wide
service.
Open West, yeah.
Are they're
So
already operating in there?
well, they sent something through my neighborhood and said, we're gonna be drilling
Mhm.
this week.
They have
So-
been doing some additional work and,
But that's where they're,
yeah, that's one of the
Right.
developments. They're also in Saddle Creek and Carriage Club and throughout. And they have been doing work and the attorneys did notify them that they don't have a current permit, that it's up for tonight, so they're halting that and have a better understanding of the township's process now.
yes, and not only that is, we want them to, we want to be unified in the fee schedule,
Mhm.
and they were not paying us the same as Comcast. So,
Which was the 5%.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So, this is the new one, so it'll give us a little extra revenue.
Okay, everyone understand it? Want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the uniform video services local franchise agreement with WOW.
Okay,
So do we have to make that 5% as
With,
part of
yes,
the
with,
motion?
sorry, with the
Yeah.
5% franchise fee and the 0.5% PEG fee, I think it was,
Yes.
for a 10-year term.
I'll support.
all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna move on. Consideration of resolution to apply for grants for township trails and related infrastructure. I know Brian, you and Leslie were gonna kind of spearhead this, kind of come in at the last minute, but it's something we have to do tonight.
Yeah, I can kick this off. So we have a deadline of April 1st to apply for this year's grant cycle through the DNR Trust Fund program. So this evening is your last opportunity to make a resolution in support of us submitting a grant. Those of you that were on the board previously, we have tried to pursue a grant. It was 2017 was when we submitted last time, and that was for essentially the entire park project. That included the parking lot and a driveway onto the site and fields and grading and all that sort of thing. With this go around, the plans are much farther along, and CES has been able to estimate the cost for just the bridge and adjacent pathway of approximately $850,000. With that, the reason that we are narrowing the focus of the grant application is DNR has several priority project types, and one of them is trail connections. And so we believe that getting over this barrier to provide access to this park from everyone who can access down 11 Mile, this can connect you up to Huron Valley Trail. This can function as a trailhead to the pathway system throughout the township, and so we think it's a good opportunity. As it sits right now, we can request up to $400,000 worth of grant funding from the state. That would obligate you to match the remainder of the project, which in this case is about $450,000. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, Leslie, but that was part of the original budget for the park in general that you've already committed to. So this is not 450 on top of the 2.5 that you've already talked about. So that's where we're at today. If you authorize the resolution that's in your packet, Leslie and I will get started on putting together everything. I know she's got quite the head start on most of these documents. But there is a narrative and self-scoring and a bunch of evaluation type activities that we need to do that we'll work on our end and bring in CES and Carol's group where we need them, and your staff as needed too.
I would like to just comment too for the record that the pathway connection will be an 8-foot wide pathway connection, and when we submit the exhibits, it will be noted that way. That's one of the requirements in the grant. So I just wanted to state that for the record tonight. And in addition, we can use other grant funds as the township match as well. And there is another grant that I think might make sense, and we'll discuss it at the pathway committee and get some direction. So just wanted to add those couple items.
Does the way that this is spec'd, does it meet the, the ASHTA specs that would allow for TAP funding application as well, or no?
No, TAP funding has to meet MDOT requirements, and so it's a whole separate criteria.
So it would not, as designed, it would not be eligible for TAP?
Correct.
Any other questions? We'd like to apply, I mean.
I think we have to give an opportunity to the public, correct?
Yes, thank you for that. We do have, we have an obligation to ask the public for their input on this. For what it's worth, we did talk about trail connections and that sort of thing with the master planning process. So we can go back and I can gather minutes from those meetings where we've talked about it and other opportunities as well. Even going back to the previous master plan, Parks and Rec plan, where we talked about.
If you don't have the responses from that last Parks and Rec survey, I can send you those.
From Abbey Park?
Or, no, the online one that we did in 19.
Okay, yeah. Yep, I've got those in the document, but that'll be helpful. I'll compile all of that, basically showing we've got a track record or a history of wanting this done, which is going to go a long way towards illustrating the desirability and the need that we have. So.
Well, I think this was, we've been working on the pathway committee for a while. We've targeted certain segments for the sole purpose of getting to the park. So I think that those would be really good arguments. I would hope that they would recognize.
There's some local connectivity also available immediately. There's passive recreation opportunities with the conservation easement, and there will be a nature trail to the Summerlin development, which would extend the pathway system to the east of approximately another mile. So those are all items that will be highlighted in the application.
We have the War Dog Memorial.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say to the other War Dog. Maybe we stand a good chance this time,
And
Cross our fingers.
we have put in money already on the 11 Mile segment, so
Yes, we do.
we're committed.
And resurfacing our own
Yes.
current trails, so.
Hetty, you brought up a good point the other day. We purchased the trail.
Yes.
Right?
That's right,
So,
yep.
yeah, you've made a lot of positive developments that
Yep.
we'll try to illustrate and hopefully DNR will recognize.
Okay, well, everyone agree we should go forward and try to get the grant?
Yep.
John, before you make a motion,
sorry.
we should request public comment
Oh.
for the
Okay.
record.
Hey, any of you guys care? I think we're good.
Thank you.
We can open for public comment if you'd like. You want to do that?
We just need the minutes to reflect that, so.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and we'll open the conversation for the resolution to apply for grants for the township trails and related infrastructure for public comment at 6:40. Okay? Okay. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close public comment at 6:40, and we're going to move on for a motion.
I think Patty ought to make this motion.
Yeah, pretty excited. I'd like to make a motion for the resolution to submit an application to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Grant Fund for a pedestrian bridge in 11 Mile Road Park, resolution number 2024-14.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion in support. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, our last item of business is a closed session, and someone will have to make a motion to go in. You wanna?
I can make that
Wanna
motion
read
if you'd
that?
like. Like to go into a closed session for consideration of a closed session to discuss pending litigation, MLS Holdings LLC versus Charter Township of Lyon, Oakland County Circuit Court, case number 2024-205031-CZ, in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268E, as an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the township.
Okay. Anyone like to second that?
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion in support. April, could you please call this by roll?
Yes, I can. Oops. Christopher Enlow,
Yes.
John Dolan,
Yes.
Robert Swain,
Yes.
Patricia Carconi,
Yes.
Lisa Bites.
Yes.
And then Joy just marked the other two are absent.
Okay. We will we will shut for closed session. Whichever for a few here. Okay. Thanks. You guys want to stick around?
6:42.